Wall Street is kicking off the final trading week of November in the red. We have been seeing record highs for the major averages, so today's pullback may be a consolidation. Joining me at the beginning of the week is Peter Cardillo of First Standard Financial. Peter, thanks for joining me today.
Good to be back.
Well, we are seeing a pullback in the equity averages, but we have to keep in mind that we saw record highs and intraday highs consecutively, so it's been a good month for the averages. But what are we seeing today?
I just think it's some profit taking, also the fact that there's this recount issue, although I don't believe that's really in back of this because of the fact that if that was the case, then, we would see the averages down sharply, and that's not the case. So what we're seeing here is some profit taking, and of course, a little bit of skepticism regarding OPEC's meeting this week.
And of course, all eyes are on that November 30th meeting for OPEC members. And we've been seeing oil prices go up and down based on the commentary we're getting. And I'm sure there'll be plenty of speculation. But what can we really expect on Wednesday?
I think we're going to see a deal. I'm sticking to my predictions that OPEC will wind up with a deal. Now, whether or not it'll be substantial enough to convince the market, that's questionable. But I do believe that if we get any sort of a deal, that the market is probably going to rally back up towards that $50 mark. And of course, some of the rhetoric that we're getting out of OPEC, especially over the weekend, suggests that that perhaps they're going to surprise the market. And I say that simply because of the fact that the majority of people don't believe that a deal is at hand. And of course, what really happens here is that OPEC needs to suffer, and it has suffered. Most of the OPEC nations, including Saudi Arabia, are in dire straits. Just look at their recent change of fiscal policy. And so that tells me that a deal is on its way.
Well, Peter, of course, we'll continue to keep an eye on energy prices as well as any rhetoric coming out from OPEC members as well as non-members ahead of that meeting. But I do want to ask you about the retail sector. We had Black Friday at the end of last week, and of course today is Cyber Monday. So many Americans are taking to their laptops and smart gadgets to shop. What do you make of the numbers we've been seeing so far?
Well, there's no question that shopping at retail stores and at malls has not been as strong as expected. But if you look at the online situation, we're at record numbers. So I kind of think that sort of basically balances itself out.
And last but not least, Peter, I do want to shift our focus on over to Europe. We have that referendum coming up in Italy, but of course we've been also keeping an eye on French politics, and we had the election coming up. So we did see Francois Fillon take the center-right candidate position. But what do you make of everything that's happening ahead of the ECB meeting in December?
Well, I think that in Europe, we're beginning to see a virus contagion here, in the sense that Europe seems to be shifting now, at least from the recent polls in France and perhaps what may actually happen in Italy due to the referendum, that the right wing seems to, at least the center right wing, seems to be gaining popularity. So that means Germany and Spain could follow through, and that means a right-wing popularism is likely to overshadow in the coming years.
Okay, Peter. Well, thank you so much for helping us make sense of everything that's happening around the globe.